call it a sonic boom for nothing. Sonic is reborn for the next generation, and this time, speed won't be enough. It'll take an all-out force of nature.
Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, we're going back to a 2006 game that not a lot of people like, let's be honest with ourselves. That game being Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Sonic 06. We made a video here on Retro Rebound back in April, the week of the release of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, that this game is a tragedy, but it's a tragedy I love. And if there's one thing I've learned through the plethora of Sonic content that we've made on this channel, it's that everyone has a little bit of childhood Sonic favoritism. There's a game that we all attach ourselves to within the Sonic fandom because we grew up with it, whether it be the adventure games like many of you out there that I missed out on, Heroes, or in my case, this happened to be the misfortune in my lifetime where I had the childhood favoritism of this one. I remember specifically waiting for my PS3 that I had ordered. I went to GameStop that day. I picked up Sonic the Hedgehog and I picked up Viking Battle for Asgard. And I just sat there staring at those games and waited, staring out my window, literally hoping the UPS driver would somehow time travel to like 5 p.m. Eastern time and make it to my door with my console in hand. And this was the first game, the PS3 version, of course, that went into that console. And I loved it. I didn't know any better. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that childhood ignorance, if you will, of just loving a thing because you're having fun with it. Even if it was technically broken and it was ridiculous and it was imbalanced and all this great stuff, I still had some love for Sonic 06. And as I got older and became more of a game critic, I look at it now and I'm like, yeah, you're really not a great game. Sorry, Sonic. But there's something about it I can't help but love. Now, I've played this game a number of times. Today, though, we're talking about Sonic P-06. So this past weekend, I was doing a little R&R. I was like, I want to indulge in my desires a bit. I was holding off until the mod was done, but I decided, you know what? I think I've earned it. I want to play Sonic P-06. For those who don't know, this is a mod that is an actual remake of Sonic 06 that has been done by one single modder. And as someone who has always believed in the ideas of Sonic the Hedgehog, clearly the execution wasn't there, but has always believed in the ideas, this mod I have so many positive things to say about. I just need to talk about it. First, as always, if you're new here and you're into nostalgia content, then consider subscribing. This is a little different. Normally we're talking about, I guess, official games, but this time we're talking about a mod. But let's do the complete in-box experience. This is what you get in 2006. Sonic the Hedgehog, this is a little bit of a crummier copy, unfortunately. You know, the stickers are up here, but look, there was a time this game was going for 50, 60 bucks. I have no idea why. Now it's gone down a bit. I got this for 20 though when it was going for 50, 60, so it's, you know, a fair price at the time. The back says this time speed won't be enough. Play as Sonic, Shadow, or the new Silver, which I always call Trunks, but in the Sonic universe. Over 10 action-packed stages, battle 10 formidable bosses, and then you see Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. Topple enemies with Sonic's all-new custom moves and upgradable abilities, send cars and massive boulders flying with Silver's psychic abilities, and commandeer Shadow's high-powered vehicles through vast action-packed stages. The reason I'm showing you all of this, you may remember this from our Sonic 06 video, but I think it's important context to the type of game Sonic 06 is, and if you're a Sonic Adventure fan, you'll see shades of that, because, of course, they go through the story here. Princess Elise, we'll talk about that stuff in a moment with the mod. But you'll notice in the single player mode, they have an episode select. And there's also a trial select, which is what you'll use in the mod, because right now what's only available is the levels themselves. You can just play the levels. There's no story stuff, which cuts out the part of the game that I don't think can be fixed. But continuing on, you'll see throughout this manual that they have character controls for each of the specific people that you could play as within the game, because each episode is defined by the major 3 characters on the back of the box, being Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. And so they have their controls here, the vehicles that you can use, whether it be the buggy, the bike, the hovercraft, the glider. Silver, of course, with his psychokinesis abilities. But then you'll see there are support characters, they call them. And there are a number of them, but it's not like, say, Sonic Adventure 1, where they all have their own episodes, right? So in a lot of ways, spiritually, this was Sonic Adventure 3, just kind of a reboot of the series, calling it Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, as we all know, the game released, it was broken. a modder has taken to Unity to practically remake Sonic 06. I played some of it. Let's talk about it. Okay, for starters, like I said, you do a trial select, so you can pick any of the 10 stages for right now, Sonic or Shadow. The Silver stages are not available, but as many of you know who have played Sonic 06, Silver will be available in both Shadow and Sonic stages, so he's still playable in this. He's just not having all of his levels there, and that'll eventually come out probably within the next year. But right now, you can play all 10 stages for Sonic, plus his extra stage. You can play all of Shadow stages, plus his extra. And I don't know how to say this without sounding hyperbolic, but in this last year, I've had the privilege of playing a lot of Sonic games for the first time. Adventure 1, Adventure 2, Heroes, Unleashed. I've played a ton of Sonic games lately, as many of you realize. But this feels incredible. I really was shocked at how good it felt compared to the Sega-funded Sonic experience. Things like momentum felt really good. And more than anything, it felt like the ideas in Sonic the Hedgehog had now finally been realized in this mod. What it shines a bright spotlight on is that Sonic 06 has some baller stages. You know, one thing that didn't miss with this game was the music, and that you have the proper flow for these levels, and you can really zip around them, and you can control things properly. It feels incredible. Even down to White Acropolis, the snowboarding stages. Is there a little bit of an adjustment? Is it perfect? No, there's still some moments where you're going to completely lose momentum, like going slightly uphill. And that's just going to happen given the core of this game being broken. But the fact that I can gain momentum going downhill, do tricks off the top of the mountain, and really gain some serious speed, and the game feels good, is incredible. Again, there are still things that are wrong with its core, like mid-level, you're just going to get hit with a loading screen. Boom, there it is. Into the next part of the level you go, because these stages were separated into multiple acts. But given that you're playing this on PC, the load times are quick, and it kind of gets rid of that middleman. But the stages, I cannot emphasize how good they feel now. The amount of shortcuts that I felt I could take. Y'all know me. I'm a Sonic fan now, but I can't sit here and claim I'm a good Sonic player. But there were some S ranks that I was pulling off, and I was impressed with myself doing some air dashes, hitting the rainbow rings, zipping around the levels, getting through these little shortcuts, because now you can. You see, you look at sections in Sonic 06, the base form, like the Mach speed parts on Wave Ocean, where you're just running at this high velocity, and if you bump into anything, off you go. See you later. You're dead. You start just tumbling, and that's it. And it's a horrible feeling. Now, in this game, you're in Mach speed. You gradually pick up speed. If you bump into an object, you lose your rings, but you bounce back. You get a chance to reset. Then you could start gunning forward. And they've even fixed little things, like, again, in Wave Ocean, where you go off the jump pad, and there's a rock right in the middle of the beach. In Sonic 06, when you shot off that, you would just hit it. You wouldn't have time to move in the air because the game's controls didn't allow that. Now the game, when you shoot off that jump pad, allows you to resume control a little sooner, so you can adjust with your Mach speed in midair. And it feels so good. And the Mach speed truly gains momentum as you do more ring dashes. You'll just burst further and further and further. And now you're really going fast, where I feel like the speed of Sonic has been achieved in a 3D space in a way that feels good. And then you combine that with how they've fixed parts of the combat, and it's incredible, because Sonic 06, you now learn the level design didn't really lean on what some people complained about with modern Sonic, which was a lot of homing attacks, hitting like 3 enemies in a row to get to the next part of the stage, or hitting some of the bounce pads, hitting some of the dash pads. And for a lot of people, they feel like that becomes too automatic. And you can even see shades of that in, say, Sonic Frontiers, right? Where it's just very much on rails, like you're not controlling things, the screen's just moving really fast. But now in this game, you can see, because you have total control, the shortcuts you can take, and how well designed these levels actually are. Again, because now the combat feels good, going into a room and homing, attacking like 6 enemies at once, and unlocking this door to the left. I mean, it just feels really good. And you're just going to hear me say that a lot, right? Just feels good, just feels good. Because I think that's what a lot of Sonic games have missed. Think back to, if you haven't seen it, you should check it out, but my review for Sonic Heroes. It's a game that hey, this is probably my favorite old Sonic game I've played so far outside of Sonic Adventure 1. I really like this game because the ideas are there and most of the execution is kind of there. I think it comes to the sacrifice of the story, but I digress. I think mostly this game feels good to play because it's intense 3D platforming, like hand-sweating 3D platforming. That was cool, but there are things I complain about, like this guy right here, Knuckles, and the brawler sections of the level, where this man was practically like on an ice patch, just slipping and sliding all over the level, and the amount of times I died just because I was engaging in combat was frustrating. So when you get to support characters like Knuckles on Crisis Core, and you see him just punching things, and he's not zipping around, he feels good. Everything's been elevated. Every section of every level feels good, down to the climbing of Knuckles, the flying of Rouge the Bat, even Tails. I have a reputation in my friend group for hating Tails. I can't stand Tails. I know some people think he's cute, but there's something about Tails that rubs me the wrong way. But not in Sonic 06 or P-06. No. Because now he can like aim in and snipe with his dummy ring bombs. The auto targeting for the game is really good for the dummy ring bombs now, so you can really throw them and keep moving. All of the fixes in this game just allow you to keep up momentum. And because of that, all of the levels inherently benefit from that and feel so good to play. Unfortunately, what's missing are the boss stages. So I'm very curious to see how they'll figure out, say, Silver's boss fight with Sonic. You know, it's no use. Take this, right? We all know, iconic, buggy, horrendous boss fight that if you've played the game a lot of times, you know how to work around its kinks, but it is broken. And it's going to be interesting to see how something like that is fixed. But on a stage-by-stage basis, Sonic P-06 is probably the best dang feeling Sonic experience I've had in my young Sonic career. And keep in mind, I have played a lot of the modern Sonic games from Generations and on. It's where a lot of my dislike for the franchise began, because a lot of people were like, you just got to go back and play the older ones. I'm like, if the newer ones don't feel good, how are the older ones going to feel better? Of course, I've learned my lesson, but you know, you just look at how good P-06 feels, and it's like, how is this not an official Sega product? It's incredible. And it's something that, as a Bethesda fan, many of you know, I'm a huge Bethesda Game Studios fan. I'm familiar with the modding community there and the whole sentiment of, you know, modders make Bethesda games great. And I think they help keep them alive, but I think Bethesda Game Studios games are inherently great. Like Fallout 3, I think Skyrim, Fallout 4, I think these games are fantastic already, and I think modders make them better. But with something like Sonic, I can almost understand in some points the argument of like modders are making better games, because just the way the feel of Sonic P-06 is incredible. Now, I will say some critiques, and I don't want to go too hard here because we're talking about one person remaking this game. For me, it feels silly to critique anything, but I just think the feedback could help. Silver still doesn't feel that great to control. There are moments where I'm picking up things with its telekinesis and I'm trying to throw them at enemies and I'm missing. You know, they're throwing items into the corner. It's not feeling that great. I'll put a cap on myself, though, that I didn't remember the entire controller layout for Silver like I did with Shadow and Sonic, so it's possible there was a move I was forgetting in the midst of all that, but generally speaking, I know his psychokinesis of throwing items was his main form of attacking. Still doesn't feel that great. There's also the controls for the vehicles. When it comes to Shadow, I did the bike section on Radical Train. It didn't feel great. So again, this is things I don't blame the modder for. This just comes down to the core of the game. And what's great is you can kind of opt out of it. And moments like, just speaking of Radical Train on a separate note, Sonic's stage for Radical Train, where he's like zipping through at 60 FPS, buttery smooth, and I'm flying to catch up to this train. I was showing this on Discord to one of my Sonic hating friends. Like, he's very story-driven guy, not really into Sonic at all, loves to laugh and meme up the franchise. Even he was looking at that moment there going, this looks really good. And I think that's probably the biggest vote of confidence you can give this modder, is it's making non-Sonic fans turn their head. And what's great is right now in its current state, I would almost prefer it to have a version like this where it's just the trial select where you can pick any of the stages. The reason I like this is it cuts out the part of the game that I think you can't fix, which is this weird relationship Sonic has with Princess Elise and the story stuff. it's not great. Now, you do get treated to, in the opening, the CGI cutscenes like Shadow getting his orders at White Acropolis, and oh my God, does it look beautiful. It feels, again, like an idea that was here in this game has been truly realized. I love all that stuff. I really do. But to me, it's cut out the fat of the story. Like, I'm curious how, like, Solana's going to feel, you know, the hub town world, how they're going to fix those things, because that's where all the loading screens are baked in, right? And the modder, understandably so, didn't get rid of the loading screens in the trials and the levels. So how's it going to be in Solana? Will anything change there? We'll see. Again, I'm not going to put pressure on the modder to fix that, because to me, they've already amended the biggest issues with the game, which is the feel of Sonic, the feel of Shadow, where like now Shadow's multi-dash attack in midair, where he's just punching things, hitting them, feels so good. When you use his ultimate power and you start just zapping enemies around the level, his combat focus feels really good now. Everything has been lifted up. And again, now it becomes an experience, because I go back to the soundtrack. The soundtrack for Sonic 06 did not miss. It never did. But for it to become this cohesive experience, you need things clicking on all cylinders. When the guitar kicks in, it's like bow, now, now, bow, 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 and you're like, oh man. As you're zipping around as Shadow and you're jumping from up this entire volcano, suddenly everything is like, this is sick. This feels great. I love it. I really do. It's made me fall in love with this game, and now it makes me feel unapologetic about it, right? I always quietly knew, like, Sonic 06, bad game, bad Sonic, but there's a part of me that always loved it because I grew up with it. Now I can kind of feel less bad about it because a modder has gone out of his way to literally like fix the whole game. So I can't speak positively enough about Sonic P-06. The official modder, I will have his channel linked in the description down below if it's someone you'd like to check out and you want to check out this mod itself, and of course track updates for it, which certainly I will be doing. You can do just that. But I figured with all the official Sonic content we have yet to cover here on Retro Rebound, I wanted to take a moment to just shine a spotlight in a corner of the community that's doing something absolutely incredible here. And just let you all know, if you have yet to play this, it's like a couple of gigabytes download. It feels great. It looks great. By the way, I'm not wrapping up yet. No, we're not done yet. The visuals. This game looks really good. I couldn't believe it. You know, I don't know how they did it, but the actual game itself is visually appealing. The models look refreshed. There are cutscene comparisons. Everything about this game looks, runs, feels, plays better, but it cuts out the story, which is the part where I'm like, you know, because you think about like how stupid they make Silver and how easily tricked he is and how easily he switches back. And I feel like he's one of the biggest missed opportunities of Sonic the Hedgehog, right? This time-traveling hedgehog, again, like Trunks from the future. You've destroyed my world. It's you, the Iblis Trigger. And there's like no similarities between Sonic and the Iblis Trigger. So it's just like, how did you mix these up, Silver? I don't know. But it cuts out that type of stuff, so you just get to focus on the levels and the fun, amazing parts of Sonic 06 that now work. And it's awesome. So again, I will have this modder linked down below. You can check out their work. This remake is incredible. I will just be hopping into this from time to time just to have fun. Like I am so excited for more updates, because right now I think I'm in a perfect pocket to be playing this, because we had 9 months ago, our last update was the Shadow 1.5 update. And now we're waiting for the Silver update, I assume. And the idea that, like, if it's been 9 months, like, we might be getting it somewhat soon. Really exciting. Again, no pressure. This is one person doing this, but I am pumped. So, have you played Sonic P-06? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Incredible effort. We'll talk about more official content moving forward, but I just couldn't, after playing it this weekend, sit there and just be like, I'm just going to keep that experience to myself. No. Especially when I know so many of you love the Sonic content here, which is hilarious because, like, I'm so critical of the franchise. But I had to bring some attention to it for those who hadn't heard of it. I know many of you had. The videos out there that I see on Sonic P-06 do extremely well, so I imagine most of you had, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on the experience. I'm gonna go play it after this video. Like, it's just fun pick up and play energy. And I would love to see Sega get involved here somehow and kind of Sonic Mania it up, bring them on board, kind of make this an official release. Because imagine how crazy it would be if they said like, hey, because I'm a modder, we're redoing Sonic 06. We're paying them for their fine work. We're re-releasing this. And it's like the 06 game that we never got, which is effectively Sonic Adventure 3. Because now we know Sega's inching towards Adventure 3. For those who haven't watched any interviews for Sonic Frontiers, now they're saying, afterwards, we would love to do Sonic Adventure 3. It's like, that's a pretty big thing to say. People have wanted that for a while. So, I look at something like this, and this could be an answer, like a nice half step in the middle of like, this really was supposed to be Adventure 3. It wasn't. It was a complete mess. I hope they could drop their pride and maybe get involved somehow. But maybe we don't want Sega involved. When you look at how well the franchise is doing here as a modder, it feels better than any official product I've played so far. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Clearly, I can't help but ramble off topic with this particular game because it's just so exciting. So let me know what you're thinking. Other than that, I will see all of you in the next Retro Rebound. Peace out.